Speaking of Coach Sweeney, a couple years ago, there was a quote that came out saying that he would leave the game of football, college football, I'm assuming, if players were getting paid.
Mhm.
Can you add some clarity to that? Was that quote misconstructed? Is that still on the table for Dabo Swinney? Because a lot of people, I think, when they saw the quote, they're like, now that players are going to be getting paid, they're like, hey, is this really going to happen? So you follow Clemson football. I'm sure you've been in press conferences with Dabo Swinney talking. You probably were there when he said the quote. What's kind of the background to that and Dabo Swinney's stance today on this name, image, likeness bill?
Yeah, so I was there that day, and it has been taken out of context for what he meant. So he was asked about it was the Northwestern kids at the time that were trying to professionalize sports, and they were suing the NCAA and all this, and he got asked about professionalizing the sport. Basically, the colleges paying, so Clemson paying and Miami paying players, making them employees. And Dabo, that's where he came out and said, if they become professionals, then that's the day I leave college football. And he said, I'll go to the NFL and do that because that's what the NFL is. He was talking about professionalism, not the name, image, and likeness. That was in 2014. About 5 years later, I even asked him this at the ACC spring meetings when the NIL bill or the working group started for the NCAA to figure out how they could do this. I asked Coach Sweeney about that, and he came out and said this may be as a solution. He says, he's never been against. His whole thing is he likes the current model. In other words, kids getting the scholarships and what they get and all the things that come with it. He likes the improvements they've done where the parents are getting money to help them travel to bowl games and things of that nature and playoffs. He likes the stipends where these players are getting the stipend money and all this stuff, and they get their Pell Grant money that helps. He likes the format of what it is, and he says, okay, I don't think they should be professionalized, but their name, image, and likeness is a solution. It's a way they can make money without taking away their amateurism, where we can keep the current model still in place without taking away the amateurism of college football and making it professional. That's what he said. So that was 2014. The first one was about being professionalism. And then 2019 was about name, image, and likeness. And he said he was for name, image, and likeness. So these people that have turned this around and go back to that 2014 quote, they're not going back to 2019 when he said name, image, and likeness was a solution to all of this. And so I'm glad you asked me that question because it is one that a lot of people don't understand. I actually had conversations with one former NFL player and one current NFL player to set the record straight with both those guys because they were out there doing that. And I let them know. I said, hey, man, you're wrong on this. You're taking it out of context. That's not what he said. I was at both press conferences. I asked him the second question directly. The first question was totally taken out of context. That's not what he said. He did not say that in that term. He said it in professionalism, not name, image, and likeness. Two different things. Understand what you're talking about.